Mafia, are you ready?
He said, are you ready?
This is Brotherly Love Wrestling Podcast, your first stop for everything professional wrestling. So sit back and enjoy wrestling talk at its finest with your hosts, Larry Hall and Joe Corrado.
Welcome everybody to Brotherly Love Wrestling, and our guest today is Jordan Blade. Jordan, welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for having me on.
The ankle breaker.
That is me, now with a multitude of other nicknames that I just give myself. That's what you do, right? You give yourself nicknames?
That's really what wrestling is all about. Good attire and plenty of nicknames.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And so it's just like, can I fit all of those on my gear? Like, is that possible? Is that too much?
I think if you do like you remember Jenko's, like the old big like jeans. I think if you were to rock those to the ring, you could probably fit every name in the dictionary on there.
Let's go. I'm just gonna come up with just random, like, off the wall names. Let's go. I'm down.
I like it. Now, we want to congratulate you because yesterday you did have a tag team match with your tag team partner, Eel O'Neill from the District, and you wrestled at the Cassandro Cup against Team Bussy. Or am I pronouncing that right? Is it Bussy?
It's Bussy. I think Bussy would be like B-U-S-S, like E with a little asterisk.
So I went French. Who is Effie and Alley Cat? And was this a first time matchup for you guys?
Yeah, so this is first time matchup. For both of us. Neither of us, I don't think, have had like singles matches against either of them, or like we haven't been in any scrambles with them. I don't think. My memory is that of like an 80-year-old. But yeah, this is first time meeting for both of us.
Now, the experience throughout the whole Cassandra Cup and the vibe throughout the whole show. I mean, how was it? I mean, because this is a very specific event that is. It's new to me to watch an event like this, like geared towards everybody, but pride being the main theme behind it. Right. I mean, it really goes to show you how wrestling is evolving and how what was done years and years ago and how it's changing, and it's slow. It's slow for people to actually get on board and to watch it and appreciate it, because if you take everything away and anything behind it, theme or whatnot, it's just wrestling. That's all it is. And that's what people don't really see when they're watching it. They like to put like underlays and there's something wrong with it. But when you boil it down, it's just wrestling. That's all there is. And it's damn good wrestling at that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so the vibe, when we were working, the Cassandra Cup, everyone, it was just a vibe of, or at least I'll just speak for myself, like, it was excitement. For me, it was definitely like a sense of relief, but not like that I was expecting anything bad, but just like, here's a place that I can come, that I am fully accepted by everyone, all of the wrestlers, production team, referees, photographers, everyone was just in a great mood, and everyone was just having fun, and that's what you want. That's what wrestling is. Wrestling is fun, and wrestling's for everyone, and I'm sure everyone has heard that a million times. That's literally what it is. And we, years ago and it still is, but years ago when wrestling was more just very kind of like in your face, racist, homophobic, XYZ, they shut out a huge demographic, which are, LGBTQ fans and things like that, because who's going to feel safe going to a wrestling show where someone's chanting like something racist or homophobic or something like that, but now since we're evolving, like you said, like slowly but still evolving, and we have places like Bush versus Gore, and we have other places that are welcoming, to LGBTQ wrestlers and fans alike. We are definitely progressing. We still have a ton of work to do, but it's very relieving. It's very freeing, to be able to come into a venue, to come into a workplace where you're accepted by everyone. You don't have anything to worry about either with yourself or with your family. Who maybe they're watching pre-COVID, obviously. Um, but you have nothing to worry about, and that's probably like the best feeling.
And you know what? It shows through the TV or wherever you're watching it from. It shows that the fun, for one, is you can see everyone is having fun. You can see everyone is supporting everyone. There wasn't any, like, it didn't seem like there was any hostility or anything like that. There's no one trying to one up each other. Everyone was there for a common goal. And I think that is kind of an afterthought when you're thinking about mainstream wrestling. There's a common goal. I mean, I know since AEW came about, it seems to be like a common goal there, but all in all, when you think of mainstream wrestling, there's not a common goal. It's to be the best. But like when you're bringing other people up and you're supporting your peers, I mean, it's just a better environment.
Yeah, absolutely, and that you everyone can kind of relate to the feeling of like being jealous or comparing yourself to others. And I'll just speak for myself. That's not to say that I don't feel those feelings, but it's very much freeing. Again, I guess we're on a theme here today. It's very much freeing, and you have this weight lifted off your shoulders when you kind of come to terms with things. Be like, you know what? And I'm a big believer in the universe and like karma and things like that. I always say, like, I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. And I believe in myself and my abilities, but that doesn't mean that I can't root for my friends. That doesn't mean that I can't celebrate their wins. That doesn't mean I can't be there for them when they, get that contract or when they get that opportunity. Because at the end of the day, they're still my friends. You know what I'm saying? So it does me no good. It does no one else any good if everyone is trying to. And don't get me wrong, it's still going to be very competitive, and I think we all like to compete to a certain degree. But again, when it becomes malicious or something like that, that's kind of where it's just like you're holding you're holding yourself back. You're getting in your own head, and you're bogging yourself down with these thoughts when I mean, and I know it's easier said than done, but when you literally could just support your friends. I mean, literally, like, that's it. I have a few friends in wrestling. Erica Lee being one of them, Sledge Gibson being one of them, and I am super ecstatic about where they're going and what they're doing because they were two of my first friends in wrestling, and I hold them close to my heart because I love them so much, and I love everything they're doing. So.
No, it's going off of what you said there. It's a sport mentality. It's like an old school sport mentality to be really competitive, but it was always weird to me to be so competitive, but to also wish someone else failed, so that you could, instead of doing the work and being better, making yourself better, you always have, there's that afterthought in their head saying, well, I can't get to that point. There's that no, but it's always been a weird mentality to me to wish that someone else did bad so you could be better instead of being better yourself and trying to get there with them.
Right, and that's where I feel, again, kind of me, being one with the universe or karma or stuff like that. Like, I definitely believe that if you put negative energy out into the world, it's going to come back to you. That's just me. But, again, you wishing ill or wishing or hoping someone fails does not do you any good. Then, you just putting in the work in the gym, in wrestling training, for your promos, other, factors or whatever, getting better at video editing, whatever, whatever have you. It's literally, like, not going to do you any good. And, like, I don't understand that mentality either. And I've been an athlete since I was 6 years old. Played basketball for 10 years, played ultimate frisbee for 7 years, a variety of other sports. Now doing jujitsu. So I like my being is competitive. So like I'm a very competitive person, and I have the mentality of where I need to be the best in the room. But that's on me. That is on me to, again, put in the work in the gym, put in the work in my diet, put in the work in training. Like that's on me. That's on no one else. I cannot blame anyone else for where I got to or where I didn't get to.
But that competitive nature shows, and it shows in the ring that you are an athlete and you do carry that. Oh, I want to be you have that hunger. It feels like you have that hunger to be the best. And you can tell. And it's showing with the opportunities you've been getting, which congratulations on. And you're most recently the Pro Wrestling Magic female champion?
Yeah, women's champion.
Women's champion. I knew I was going to get it wrong. It was a very long name to try and get anyway, and I'm not good at these things. You can ask Larry.
Right, exactly. Why do you think we condense things into like letters?
Yeah, I know.
Exactly.
It's for people like me that can't do 4 words.
Exactly.
But
yeah, so that was, super exciting. I mean, literally, like, arrive when championship leave. Like, debut, championship leave. So it's just like that. I mean, not gonna lie, I got a little bit of a chip on my shoulder. I mean, again, debut for an organization and fast. I did that here in Virginia with United Elite Wrestling. Second ever show. Came in, beat Ariella Nix, walked out with the UEW Women's Championship. So that's literally my MO. And so I'm looking to do that a third time when I go into Paradigm Pro Wrestling. That is a long name too, and I'm probably gonna butcher it.
Welcome to the club.
Their super middleweight UWFI rules championship tournament. So I'm looking to do that this summer. So.
And that seems to be a style and a show that is built for you. I mean, you have you said you trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so you have that submission style down, and you have a real grind them down type mentality. It seems like when you get into the ring, you're not looking to flash anyone to death. You're looking to beat them down and make them tap.
Yeah, and I mean, to me, and can I cuss on here?
yes.
Sure you can.
And I'm not shitting on anyone else's style. I love, the styles of, an Eddie Guerrero or a Rey Mysterio, or, a Jungle Boy or something like that. I personally cannot fly around. Like, even before my 2 major injuries, I cannot fly around. I'm 28, my knees hurt. I can't do that anymore, okay? Like, so, and plus, like, I love grappling. I've liked grappling, since I was in high school, roughly. So that just kind of like became like a natural progression for me, a natural thing to implement into my wrestling. Even before I started doing jiu-jitsu, I was a huge fan of technical wrestling, and it just came natural to me. And this makes it sound like I'm bragging, but people, like when I started training, people thought I did amateur wrestling. And I wish I did, but I had never done that.
I thought you did.
No, never. And I want to, but I had to make a couple of decisions in high school. I ended up being a band geek, so that was my trajectory in high school. But yeah, like, Paradigm Pro Wrestling's UWFI style is something. I mean, you're exactly right. It's tailor-made for me, and I'll have to give a shout out to a couple of my boys, Yo-Yo Shooterweight and Robert Martyr. Those are 2 guys that, when I met them the first time at Paradigm in December, I was like, these 2 guys are it. Like, these 2 are fucking good. These, like, and as you can tell by the opportunities they're getting, like Robert's, wrestling Dominic Guarini, next week in Tampa, Yo-Yo's on Bloodsport, Janai Kai's on Bloodsport. Like, I saw those guys and gals, and I was just like, I was blown away. And I remember coming into Paradigm, and I was like, these are my people. Even though, like, we're, y'all are in Indiana, and, Janai and Yo-Yo are in DC, I was like, these are my people. Like, they they get it. We have like the same styles, and we just kind of vibe with each other. And I really love that, and I really appreciated that.
See, I think someone had put you over in a tweet last year, and that's what caught my eye. So I think it was someone who, remember who it was, but it's someone that we followed and someone that I respect their opinion. So I started following you and started watching your matches, like, because this is the style, this is my favorite style. Technical wrestling and grappling and hold for hold and trying to get out and maneuver and change one hold to another. That's my favorite style of wrestling. I love all wrestling, but if I can watch a Daniel Bryan Drew Gulak match for an hour on end. Yeah, it's just personally what I enjoy. So when I watch you, it's familiar to me, and you put a new twist on it, and you don't see too many women get in there to be able to do that. That's more of a rarity. It's becoming more popular. Don't get me wrong, but it's still new. When you think of technical wrestlers, you're going to put a long list of male names before you get to too many females.
Right.
And your goal is probably to change that.
Exactly. Yeah, and the one person or the one female that comes to mind if you're thinking of great technical wrestlers, and this is someone who is active right now, and this I guess would probably be a good segue, is Deanna Purrazzo. So, definitely, I mean, she touts herself as, the greatest, female technical wrestler in the world. And I wholeheartedly, Laura Canthon, believe that. She's amazing. And, I remember watching her and Trish Adora, I guess it was last month. It feels like years ago. But it was last month at GSW. And I was like, to me, this is my match of the night. Like, I mean, because obviously I've wrestled Trish before. I have huge respect for both women, Trish and Deanna. And I was like, this is it right here. Like, I'm over here studying. Like, this is the match for me. So I'm over the moon excited, as you can probably imagine, to wrestle Deanna in May. So.
And what would that be for? That's the tournament, right?
Yes, that is the Global Syndicate Wrestling Women's Championship Tournament. So we'll do first
brackets.
The first side of the bracket in May, and then we'll have in August back-to-back dates for the semifinals and then the finals.
This bracket, by the way, is stacked. Mm-hmm. I looked at this last week, and I was like, "What is this?" And I was looking in, I was like, "Oh my god, it's a women's tournament," but it's like the best women's technical wrestlers out there now. It's like this doesn't get done ever.
Yeah, legit. I'm like, you got Kimberly, Trish Adora first round. Like, come on. And I'm just saying, I'm assuming Trish may want to get some revenge for what Kimberly did at Global Syndicate Wrestling's last show when Kimberly came in and interfered. So we'll see how that story kind of progresses and how that's going to play into their match. I'm excited for that one.
Gotta love long-term storytelling.
Absolutely.
That's a lost art.
Chef's kiss.
Jordan, I do want to ask, and we kind of led towards it a little bit ago, is because you wrestle the style you do, and like we said, there aren't a lot of, notably, there aren't a lot of women that get the main scene spotlight. Do you prefer wrestling men, or do you because there's a lot more opportunity there and a lot more guys that are doing that kind of style, or I mean, does it really matter that much?
Man, this answer may get me in trouble. So I do prefer wrestling men. However, women hit harder. Which I like. So I'm not saying that's why I don't, but it's like a very fine line. It's like 49-51, like slightly edging towards men. I like throwing men around. It makes me feel powerful, and I'm not saying again that throwing women around doesn't make me feel powerful. Throwing anybody around still makes me feel powerful. But we're still kind of trying to I guess, break the stigma or whatever you want to call it of, intergender wrestling, and how some people view it as domestic violence, which that's a whole other rant or whatever, so I'm not gonna really get into that right now.
It's their only excuse that they have, though. It's the only thing that they can fall back on. Because if you go off of anything else, whether it's TV, movies, where you're able to suspend belief anywhere, I mean, if for some reason wrestling fans, and it's not, I don't know if it's the majority anymore, but it's just that, it's that old school thought. It's like I'd say like the 35 to 50 crowd, or a little bit older, that they're not used to it. What's this little filly doing in the ring? She can't be with no guy. And I don't know why I went Southern with it, but I guess I was thinking Yosemite Sam.
Just that's where it is. So you're right. In the South. So yeah, and my thing is my not even defense. My reasoning is always I train wrestling with guys. Like, I've been the only chick so many times. I trained jiu-jitsu with a ton of guys. I just got, like, I literally, I just came from jiu-jitsu. Like, what time is it? 8:29? Like, I literally was in jiu-jitsu at an hour ago. And I got beat up. Like, it's, to me, it's just another person. That's what it is. It's just another person. And plus, again, for my ego, like, my wife likes watching me throw men around, so I mean, whatever makes her happy too. So. But yeah, I mean, overall, I love wrestling, and anyone who's going to give me a competitive fight or competitive wrestling match, like, I'm always down to wrestle. And bonus points if they are technically sound, because I love to go hold for people, and then it's a game of chess, so that's again why I'm super stoked to wrestle Deanna, and why I was super stoked to wrestle Trish, because it's like, okay, this is a game of chess. I really am gonna have to think about how am I gonna get out of this, and that's the fun in it for me. I'll just be at training sometimes. I'll be like, put me in this hole, and it'll be something simple, right? But I'm like, okay, let's figure out a way to get out of this, different than, what you would normally see, like, on a wrestling show. Not to say that way is bad, but I like to be different. I like to be like, I don't want to get out of a wrist lock or a waist lock the same way that you would see a lot of other people, get out of it. So
I think wrestling's also cyclical, where we saw this big burst over the past few years of high flyers and daredevils and people that'll just put their body on the line to do anything that they can think of. But I think it's starting to fall back into technical wrestling as well. I think there's a mini resurgence. I don't think it'll ever go away, but its popularity points will probably go up and down throughout the years, but I think it's on an incline right now, because I've seen a lot more people try, ROH being one of them, mainly focusing on technical wrestling, and it being a huge draw for me. And it tractor beams right into ROH when I see they bring back the Pure division and have some of the best technical wrestlers on the planet in that division to watch that. I mean, I feel like that's kind of like they're on the gas. And I feel like people are now starting to be like, well, where else is it? And you see Paradigm doing it. You see other promotions. You see Bloodsport, which is basically the brainchild of a wrestling match and a street fight mixed with a little bit of mixed martial arts. I mean, there's people looking for it in different avenues. Like, there's wrestling for everybody. There's death matches. There's comedy wrestling. There's high flying. But I feel like technical wrestling is slowly starting to pick up more speed, which I enjoy.
Yeah, and I would agree. And you brought up, Ring of Honor, which I was going to tout as well. And I think it was kind of, like you said, on a resurgence. And I think Jonathan Gresham, with his kind of like call to arms, pure wrestlers, I think he kind of, it was on the incline again, and I think Gresham kind of, brought it to its head, to its peak. I just put my hands in front of my face. Brought it, to its peak. which is great, and I love that. And I'll give a shout out to my tag partner Eel, who went to Jonathan Gresham's Grapplers Guild at the end of last summer and learned a whole slew of holds and moves, and I was super jealous, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, and to me, again, that's the most complete form of wrestling. That's the most effective form of wrestling. Again, not crapping on anyone else's style, not shitting on death matches or comedy wrestling. Again, there's a type of wrestling for everyone. That just happens to be the wrestling that I like, and it is the closest to how I would present myself as a character. Very, very, very straightforward, very serious, and it makes sense for me to want to get the submission or want to ground my opponent, because that's how you win in a submission typically. So I'm going to get them down and I'm going to submit them in the fastest way possible. That's just it's A to Z. It's to me it's linear. So there's that's how I'm going to win.
I think that's what I liked about the Cassandra Cup yesterday, is that there was multiple submission victories, which you don't see on any show in any spectrum. Like, you don't see multiple submission wins anywhere. Like, I don't even remember the last time I saw more than... I don't remember watching TV and actually seeing one. Like, there's always a rope break, and it always ends with, like, a roll-up or the finishing move, but you don't see people tapping it. Like, yesterday, what did you have Effie in? What is this called? This I don't know. Yeah, I could try to put Larry in, but shit might get weird. But you had you turned him into a pretzel. That's the only thing I could think of.
Yeah, so it's a leg Nelson. Yeah,
it's so simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would
I
think.
don't know the name for it, but you have, I have, one leg around his waist and then one leg around his neck. So there's part of a neck crank in there, and then I'm pulling his shoulder back. So kind of the same way you would have like a full Nelson. A little bit different, but again, I trap by the legs, and then I'm pulling back on the shoulder.
I'm trying to think of a name for you for it.
I know, please.
No, don't worry, I will. I got Blade Edge in there.
Hey, come up with some names, because I'm terrible. People ask me for like the names of my moves, and I'm like, an ankle lock.
If you don't have a move called the Blade Runner, that's on you, because that's like
that's on me. That's fair.
Because that's a.
If it's especially like if it's a move within wrestling, like obviously the leg Nelson, I'm like, okay, like that definitely needs a name, but like the ankle lock it's an ankle lock. Like,
yeah.
What else am I gonna call it? The Cyto suplex. It's a Cyto suplex.
But when you give your move a name, it gives the announcers like an extra pep to when they're calling it. Like, I don't know if you watch the wrestling back in the day, and it's always like that. Oh my God, I can't believe she hit the Blade Runner. He's in the Blade Runner. Like that. It's like, you can say ankle lock, that's fine, but the Blade Runner, that gives you gotta shout that from the freaking heavens, and that's when the crowd goes nuts.
You know what? You have a good point. And I respect that. And I like this. Now, I'm going to come up with a list of names for all of my finishers and my signature moves. And next time we talk, give me some time.
I will.
Next time we talk, I'll have names for everything. Hopefully, maybe by Tampa. We'll see. No promises, but we'll see.
Speaking of Tampa, will you be down partaking in the wrestling festivities?
I will be. So I'm super excited. I don't think my matches are announced yet.
None?
They're not announced yet. I got a couple. So all I'm gonna say is that I'll be in the building for Family Reunion, IWTV's Family Reunion, and I will be at Alley Cat's Real Hot Girl Shit.
They didn't announce all those matches yet?
Well, I can't tell you in what capacity yet.
Oh, all right. All
You
right.
gotta get on the Phaedra.
We're so not good at getting the scoop. Like, we try this all the time, and we never, ever get it.
Here's the thing.
Ever.
We are not a scoop podcast.
No,
we
we're
don't,
not.
We don't shoot for the scoop.
No, we don't.
We just like to have fun.
We do,
And if we
yeah.
get to edge you a little bit, maybe you say something. Don't know.
But yeah, well, real quick, I just want to wish Faye a speedy recovery. I think she, at least from what I'm seeing, I don't know if she got injured last night, but we want to wish Faye, Auntie Faye, a speedy recovery. So, love you, Faye.
Yeah, she was in a match with Dan Barry yesterday for the Tara Calloway, was it the benefit show?
Yeah, the benefit show, because Tara tore ACL. So, which I tore my ACL almost 8 years ago. So I would never wish that on anyone. Recovery is terrible. I'd rather break my ankle again.
Oof.
Break a bone.
It does heal, but it heals quicker than the ligament.
Oh yeah, it took me like 9 months to come back from my broken ankle. It took me like 2 years to come back from my ACL, just because I was also stupid and was doing stuff that I had no business doing. But you know, it's ligaments and tendons, they have less blood flow, so they just take more time, and then you have I was having tendonitis issues along with it, and just a whole slew of problems, and so it just took me longer to come back.
So, how do you work around that now? How do you stay fresh? Like how do you make that like the strongest part of you?
Yeah, so I do a lot of stretching, do a lot of yoga. Recovery is always going to be the most important. I don't care how much you lift. Like, recovery is the most important. Thorough warm up. I try as many holistic kind of remedies as possible. So I did acupuncture for the first time a couple weeks ago, so that was crazy.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
That was pretty cool, though. Yes.
Did they do the suction cup things to you?
You said what?
Did they do like the suction cup things to you after you're?
Yes.
How weird is that?
That feels amazing. That's literally like I was just laying there and I was like.
I felt like I was getting hit with ping pong balls.
Yeah, it feels so good. The needles, like, you feel them go in, but like they don't hurt or whatever.
No, not at all. And then they turn on the machine and they stuck one in my, because I had lower back pain. I think they stuck one in my foot. They turned it up. They're like, "How's your back feel?" I said, "I can't feel anything. What did you do to me?" So you have a needle in my foot.
Yeah, it's super cool, but it's like it's not weird, but like it's just really interesting.
It's strange when you think about it. When you think about it's strange when you think about it, what they're doing to you. Like.
Right, and she was like, so I was, I have a little bit of lower back pain, and obviously on and off knee pain, and then some ankle stiffness still. But she was doing my back, and like, so she put the needles in my back and everything, and those massage guns.
Mm-hmm.
So she was going in between like the needles and stuff, like massaging everything like in between the needles, and then she did I don't know how she, whatever it looks like, but like kind of wiggled the needle and did whatever, and then like took them out, and it was crazy. Like, I was like, what? Like, this feels amazing, but I was like, what is going on?
You're freaking Larry out.
I've never had it done, and I'm listening to it, I'm like, I'm never doing this.
I can see his face start going from.
Everything I'm saying is just like turning you off.
He's trying to picture it. He's like, this sounds painful.
I promise it's not. It's amazing. But yeah, like I'll get that done. I'll get massage done. I'm going to a chiropractor now. So I try to do as many, like I said, holistic stuff before I pop some ibuprofen or before, I go and, get a shot or something like that.
Damn cortisone shots.
I really don't want to do that. I want to address like the root of the issues, which I work a desk job, so typically like my hips are really tight, which everything affects everything else, right? So my hips are tight, my ankles are tight. What joint is in the middle that's being affected? Oh, my knees. Why my knees hurt. So I try to address those things, and it can be a long-term kind of commitment and fix and stuff like that. But just keep working at it every day. But that's kind of how, I kind of stay sane and somewhat pain free. Don't we all have like those aches and pains?
I'm gonna give you my secret remedy. It might be a little costly, but I bought an inversion table, and that is a life changer.
I want an inversion table. I'm so jealous because literally, like, I look up videos.
Yeah.
Of people just on inversion tables, and I'm like,
you can feel you can feel them decompressing. Like that's what it is. Like your whole body decompresses. Like your spine and they're really, if you go on Amazon, you can find like a legitimate one and only pay a couple $100.
Yeah.
So.
And that's what I want to do. Like, so I'm just like, I mean, I'm about to go down to Tampa, so I'm gonna have to reel the spending money in for a little bit. But yeah, that's my next like kind of big thing or whatever. Like, I really want an inversion table. Lifesavers.
They feel good.
So, Jordan, after Tampa and going forward, is there any promotion or event that you might want to work, say a blood sport?
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned that. Yeah, so I mean, I've wanted to work blood sport for years, I guess. Yeah, like that would be a goal. Battle Club Pro is somewhere else I want to work for. Beyond would be dope. Trying to, like, of course my mind is blanking because all these people choked me in jiu-jitsu. All these people choked me in jiu-jitsu. Lord Jesus. Did you shall kick up the air?
No.
We make the rules on this show.
Yeah, you're good. We've said way worse things than that.
Those, I think, main 3 places, again, off the top of my head. But Bloodsport, again, that's upper echelon. That's number 1 right there. That's, I think, with my getting my foot in the door at Paradigm and getting reps in and stuff like that, with UWFI rules and stuff like that, like, that's kind of be kind of like, my practice and stuff like that. And I think, like I said, I'm aiming if he's gonna do another blood sport. When was the collective last year? Like end of last summer or roughly.
I think so. Yeah.
Another collective like that. That's my goal. Is this summer hopefully.
All right. So besides Deanna, and I'm lobbying hard for you versus Travis Huckabee. So. I'm gonna be putting my foot on the pedal for that soon enough because I want to see that match. Besides them, is there anyone on the top of your list that you haven't wrestled that you want to get in the ring with that you feel like is going to test you, like test everything that you have?
Lee Moriarty,
the current
independent wrestling champion,
IWTV champion.
Yeah,
I mean that's him. Okay, so I have a list.
Feel free.
So Lee, even though I already wrestled her, Trish, over and over and over and over again. Just keep going. Shiv D. Edith Surreal.
Have never stepped in the ring with Edith Surreal, formerly known as Still Life with Apricot and Pears?
I have not. I've been on shows with her, but never stepped in the ring with her. And I think her style is so unique.
Crisp.
So we both are technical wrestlers, but her submissions are very
fluid.
Very much works of art.
Yes.
And that's where I think she would test me. It's like, I think she beat Erica last night with the Venus flytrap, and that's very much a move where I'm just like, I'm looking at it and I'm, trying to dissect it, and I'm like, how would I even get out of that? And not so much because of pure rules, but I try not to grab the ropes because I feel like, for me, I'm not saying for anyone else, but for me, I feel that that's a cheap way to get out of something. I wholeheartedly believe that you can get out of any submission. I've not been put in every submission, but I believe that there's always a counter to some submission. So I'm looking at her work and I'm just like, a lot of these moves, I'm like, I would have to, I'm trying to dissect and trying to work through, and I have no idea how we get out of them. So I think for that reason alone, like, she would test me. She would definitely test me, and I think it'd be a great match.
So going forward, before we let you go, we want you to promote anything and everything you want to promote, whether it be your social media or any kind of merch or anything like that.
Yeah. All right. So social media, you can follow me at Jordan_Blade92 on Instagram and Twitter. Same handle. Man. Okay. So I'm trying to remember. All right. So I'll be in Tampa next week. My matches haven't been announced yet, but tune in to the IWTV Lord Showcase of the Independents. Tune into Alley Cat's Real Hot Girl Shit. I don't know if you guys saw the trailer. It's still kind of like a mystery type thing for Camp Leapfrog's Frog Sport.
Oh, we know a little bit about Frog Sport. We're actually...
We're sponsors.
We're one of the sponsors for that show.
Yes. So keep an eye out on that. That should be premiering within the next few weeks, which I'm sure you guys know. Like I said before, May 22nd, Global Syndicate Wrestling Women's Championship Tournament. First round matchup, myself versus the greatest women's technical wrestler in the world, Deanna Purrazzo. That's going to be streaming on Fight TV. What else have? It's April.
You're very busy.
I'm trying to run through. Keep your eyes out. Every Wednesday, Season 2 of Paradigm Pro Wrestling's UWFI Contender Series. Last week I called out Maxie and Taylor. So
yeah, good luck with that one.
Good luck with that one. How much faith do y'all have in me?
I have very high faith in you, but I don't put stock in it. I don't care what gender you are against Maxie and Taylor.
Oh no, Max is.
She's looking to bury some people.
I love Max, and I love their style, and I love everything about the presentation. Max, even though they'll probably powerbomb me for saying this, I don't know. I love everything about them, the presentation, just everything, and they are one of the best, in my opinion, one of the best characters going on the indies right now.
They're evolving.
Mm-hmm.
They're,
I think they should be on TV.
TV's like when I look at the crop of independent talent and I look at TV, it's almost like I need another channel. I need another promotion to be able to because I know there's too much. There's so much talent that they wouldn't all make TV, which I mean, I guess it's a double-edged sword, so to speak, but like it's almost like we need more televised wrestling to get everyone's name out there. Like there needs to be more stations so we can. I know IWTV is great. I love IWTV. Mm-hmm. That's my favorite subscription because, but it's like you're only going to get the fans. You're not going to get the casuals. You're going to get the diehards there. You need to get more casual fans invested into independent wrestling for that to really take a bigger leap and have a bigger boom and a bigger impact in the wrestling business. Right.
And I wholeheartedly agree. But I'm definitely hoping, for example, with Ring of Honor's women's tournament coming up this summer, I'm hoping a lot of my peers, are able to, get that spotlight and show, what they have. And I'm really hoping, now that, Ring of Honor's women's division can thrive because they had, great women, back when they had Women of Honor. And it was unfortunate, that kind of died down a little. But I'm glad that that's, they're, kind of jump-starting it, especially with Maria Kanellis behind the wheel. So I think she's going to be a really good asset for that tournament and for that women's division.
It's nice when you see everyone thriving. It just makes. I mean, we'll bring it all back to what we first started talking about is competition. When everyone's thriving, that's when everyone is at their best. That's when competition is at its best. So
Exactly, and I feel like I think, at least in my opinion, there is like a new energy, a kind of revived energy, more excitement, especially heading into Tampa next week. I think everyone's kind of just firing on all cylinders, and you can kind of feel it, you can feel the buzz, and I'm super excited to kind of go down there and feel that experience out for myself.
I think these WrestleMania for independent wrestling, I think these WrestleMania weeks that they do, or long weekends, so to speak, I think they put these matches so well together that anything can be must see.
Exactly.
And I think that's it's great, and more eyes should be on it, because what you can get on Peacock or the USA or any of those networks, you can get just as good, if not better, actual wrestling in the independents.
Totally agree. And I think, again, I may be biased, but I think IWTV Showcase of the Independents, I think that whole block, I think you're going to see a lot of people that, you may not have noticed before or known of, that are just going to show out and stand out, next week. And I'm really excited for that to happen too.
And that's how you grow. I mean, getting new talent, getting the eyes on them, that's how the business grows.
Exactly, absolutely. You gotta keep pushing, keep growing.
So Jordan, thank you so much for taking the time, and thank you for doing this right after class, and not even letting you rest, but hopefully you get some rest. And
yeah, we're assholes.
No, you guys are awesome. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for having me on.
All right, we hope that we'll be looking for you in all the places, especially down in Tampa. And like you said, in our event that we are sponsoring, Frog Sport, we can't wait to see if you pop up there. So we hope you have had a good time and have a good night. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.